so we're going to talk about cleaning the revolver next. Let's clean the frame and all the residue that is deposited when the gun goes off. So we're going to take a patch with solvent on it and just rub inside the frame to get this stuff kind of loosened up. This gun seems to be pretty clean. You can use a nylon brush on a stainless gun, or you can use a bronze brush, and you can use a stainless brush because it's a stainless gun. It won't hurt the finish. Do not use a stainless steel brush on a blued finish gun. You'll take the finish off. And stainless steel material is really aggressive, so I wouldn't use a brush unless you had a really large amount of deposits on it. And it can also scratch the finishes too on stainless steel guns, so use them sparingly. Down here in the underlug, we're going to put a patch in there and take our brush and clean out that area. That's where the ejector rod fits. So we're going to open up the ejector rod and take a patch. You want to clean underneath the star. You may even have to take your brush. You'll get little flakes of powder and other residue underneath it, and if that happens, sometimes it can raise this star up out of its seated location and cause the gun to jam. So we'll come in here on the cylinder, clean all these little places out. Right here on the back is your ratchets. That's what your hands engage to turn the cylinder when you're pulling the trigger. So you'll want to clean all of that. Again, take a patch, wipe all that area down, make sure it's nice and clean. On the star, I like to go into each individual fingers and wipe it down just like this. Takes all the residue out. Same thing on the front of the cylinder. You'll see there's quite a bit of buildup of residue when the gun's fired. So I take solvent, wet it down, and allow it to set. Inside the cylinders is chambers. So you take a chamber brush. I like to use a stainless steel brush for those because it is aggressive and it cleans it out pretty quick, but I don't have one. So I'm just going to take a dry brush and run it through these. You could use solvent if you want to, but this does a pretty good job. Once it's clean, we're going to go back to the face and take our brush and we're going to clean all these rings on the cylinder face. You don't want to allow this to build up because eventually it will touch the forcing cone if it gets really bad, and it might cause some hang-up problems. Take with the brush, clean it, clean all the residue off. It's pretty clean. We could clean it probably some more, but for this video you get the idea of how to clean it. I'm going to take a clean brush or a clean patch and I'm going to run it through. I've got two doubled up here to make sure that it engages. I think it's engaging all right. Let's try it with one. This will clean all the residue out of each chamber, as you can see that. You'll need a patch, clean patch on every one of these. You can double it up if you want to. I'll leave the rod inserted in the chamber so I don't lose where I'm at. And that's, the chambers are clean. So let's do the bore, and we're going to put a bore guide on this. So we talked about earlier. And let's see, let's do this. We have a wet patch, so we're going to put it right here, and we're going to run that through. Same time, our guide's going to come down, and we're going to position it right in the muzzle. So that allows us to run the rod right through it, even though we got a short barrel, and we don't touch the rod on the muzzle. Go back through it one more time. Come out. Now we're going to put a brush on it. Scrub the bore. We'll leave the forcing or the cone on it so it doesn't. I could put solvent on the brush if I wanted to. I think it's still wet from the last video we did. So I'm going to pull it right back out. And we're going to run it through one more time. Little short barrel, doesn't take long to clean it. Take the brush off, we'll put the jag back on it. Now we're going to take a fresh patch so we can clean out any of the residue. Not too much stuff on it. Let's run it through one more time. You can see it came out pretty clean. So we're going to wipe this gun down with a rag. Another place to clean whenever you clean the revolvers is right here in these slots on the cylinder. That's what your cylinder stop engages, right here at the bottom. And that's what locks the chamber up for the round to go through the bore. So once we've got it all clean, there's a few places we need to oil. One of them is right here in the ejector rod. I'd like to put a drop there. And where the revolver cylinder runs on this shaft, and then I'm going to put a drop here on the ejector rod shaft and just kind of go back and forth with it, spread that lubricant out. And I like to run this. If you really want to do it, you can take this screw out. This allows you to take this whole assembly off, lubricate down in here and on this shaft. We're going to put another drop right here where the yoke goes into the frame, and just open and close that a couple times. That lubricates this. You guys can see it, maybe better from this angle. Also, where the ejector rod locks into this pin up here, I like to put a little drop of oil on that, and that spring keeps it from rusting or corroding at times. You can also take, right down here on the sear, on the hammer, put a drop of oil, and that lubricates that. If you shoot the gun a lot, at least once a year, take it to a gunsmith, have the gunsmith take the side plate off the cylinder and do a thorough cleaning and lubrication of the gun instead of just a quick cleaning that we did here today. And that completes the revolver cleaning.